Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Hello. We're here
Yes,
to
I
talk
can.
about Wanderers and to look at some cool submissions. Welcome again to another EasyEase stream. We have a wonderful special guest, me, but we also have Nick M, the one and only. There you go. Killing it. First try, baby.
I really thought I was going to get the point right, but I thought about it too long and went the opposite way.
Nick, say
How you
hello.
doing, Nick?
What's going on, everybody? Happy to be here. Happy to be with the Ravy squad to look at some wormholes today.
I wish we could do this every day. Just start by looking at wormholes together. It really warms my heart.
Always do. In the mirror, in the sky, wherever they may be.
Of course. They could appear at random.
They do be
But this
everywhere.
time they appeared on EasyEase.
They did. And I'm filming a story for EasyEase. Guys, don't forget to watch the stream.
Oh, that's what you're doing right now.
That's what I was doing.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's look through some submissions, shall we? I know it's been a hot second, but we gotta look through these. It's gonna be a good time.
Yeah. Let's just jump right into it. First is someone's wormhole.
This one is by NBBERG Creative.
It's kind of fun. I like the wiggleness. It do be looking a little bit like a butthole. I'll be the first and only to say that.
Wow. Barred from speaking about that, I
No one else
suppose.
can-
I think
about
it's a cool, it's a cool motion. I don't know if I'm getting wormhole from it. It's more like flower or butthole, like you said. But it has a nice.
It does kind of
Feeling
look
to
like a
it.
flower. That's true.
I might have recommended doing something with the background as well, or like some sort of lateral movement or something. It just feels a little 2D and kind of just flat in this empty void. I think there was some room for some more context that could have been added. Maybe some like things in the foreground or something. Things get like sucked into it or something. But I do like the colors. I think the colors are fun. And like Noah said, I do like the wiggliness, and that is the technical term.
I do
So-
like
Yeah,
that.
and I think what we want to be looking here, because it's one thing to make like a flashy, 5-second loop, but I think you always want to look for the opportunity to put a little story into it. So out of context, I don't think you would know what you were looking at or get any sense of story. It feels like an experiment, which is fine, but I think even for really small things like this, what is the story that you can tell me in this quick loop?
Agreed.
Next submission. Good job. Thank you for submitting.
Thank you for submitting.
Thank you.
I think that this one's really got some interesting things in there.
This one is
There's
from
not a lot of-
Yusi.
Motion.
Yes.
It doesn't. Yesy?
Yusi. I mean, there's a lot of elements. That's for sure.
I like
There's
this
a lot
like
of different
kind
things
of old computer graphic-y polygonal
Yeah.
circles that they have. I think that's like my favorite part of this one.
It's
got a
kind of
vibe.
like, I don't know if I would say retro future, but it's kind of got that like, maybe it is. It's like that old sci-fi. Like I'm thinking like Hyperion or something like that. It's just kind of that thin line thing does that for me.
Any other feedback, y'all?
I like the design.
Yeah.
It's quite nice. I think we have a missed opportunity to not loop here, but
Yeah,
it's definitely a strong layout.
agreed. Which is impressive, despite the number of elements. It still feels like it's
Mhm.
got a pretty good composition. My main feedback is still just the amount of movement. I think similar to what Nick was saying on the last one. There is opportunity to tell some sort of story here. Like, why are those moving that way? Are they building towards something? Are those like planets rotating? Is there going to be something that like appears at some point? I don't know. It just feels like it's missing like another step.
And I think my favorite part of this, like I'm always really intrigued when I don't know exactly how someone did something, and for me, that part of it is these rings that they kind of have this perspective illusion to them. They're not quite circles. I think that those are the most interesting thing, but you might not notice them at first.
I do like those. I do agree. Guys, I'm putting the stream link on the story. Don't you?
We've got chat's upset about the lack of worms. Lots of hole so far. Less worms involved.
Missed opportunity
Lots of
for the
hole,
worm.
not enough worm.
Not enough worms, too much hole. But don't worry. I can confidently tell you there will be some worm
There
later
are
on
some
in this
worm.
stream.
Here's another
I know
hole.
that sounds ominous.
Here's 2 hole for you. 2 hole too many, some may say.
Wow. 2 hole, double the worm, double the hole, still no worm.
Here's the
Crazy.
opposite of what you wanted.
But I think here we are getting a little bit more of that story that we started to talk about. And like, the story can be abstract. It's text coming out of one portal and coming out of one hole, going into another hole. We're gonna beat this horse, but it's all right. But we are getting like this journey through the short clip, which I appreciate.
Agreed. I also enjoy that there's some movement throughout, which helps to keep me engaged, certainly. Although I do kind of wish that there was a little more movement to the actual, like, wormholes. God, the number of times we're going to say holes on the stream is crazy. Would have been nice to, like, see them come in, and that's what, like, kind of builds the letters come on, and, like, maybe the background, you get some, like, parallax with the stars or something, because the movement on the letters feels nice. And I just think that is kind of really making the rest of everything standing still stand out a little too much to me.
Yeah. I like how it writes on, but I do wonder if it would be even stronger if the text, the gravity of the holes pulled them from the center, so you have like the DER kind of coming in first, like a V, and then exiting in a V might be feel even better.
I like that. Or if like the bottom one gave some sort of anticipation, like maybe it gets larger, or the top one gets smaller, like some reason for it to go down through that one next.
Yeah.
It's kind of just sitting in between, and then there isn't really necessarily a reason for it to go down through the other one.
True. That could even be accomplished if you have this kind of like really deep stagger where it's never quite finishing the animation, and it's just by the time one side is finishing, it's already getting sucked into the next.
I agree. I think that'd be good. Well, cool. Thank you so much to Frank.
Thank you.
What? For submitting. What?
Next hole.
This one is from Ivy Motion. They went crazy with the particles. Now, this one does have more motion, I think, which I do like. Some more motion going on throughout. And it does feel like it's building towards something, but then that's my main piece of feedback is we don't get the payoff.
Yeah, I think you get this really nice, like, build-up anticipation. Like, you can really feel that hole forming and sucking it in, but then the cut to black, to me, it's kind of like Severance Season 1 finale, where you're just like, fuck, this is what I'm left with for 3 years.
And there's no guarantee of a next season with this one.
Exactly.
That's true. That's true.
Really, you get the director's cut from Ivy Motion.
Yeah. Well, we're waiting.
We need it. We need the next episode.
Please, Ivy Motion, please. I like it.
But
I dig it.
I think it's cool.
I think it's cool. I think they really nailed that, like, forming feeling and intensity building. So good job.
Agreed.
Olgerd says camera shake too much. Also high.
That's valid.
That's fair. Here's another thing. Ooh, whoa.
This one is from Albin.
There's a story.
There is a story on this one.
It's very Wanderers in that way.
Now, Nick, as Mr. Spaceship Guy with CC Starburst going towards camera, how are you feeling about that particular shot?
Let me watch it. Okay. I think that there's a couple things that could be improved. First of all, this is like quite ambitious and impressive, I must say, to pull off and do this much in just a couple of seconds. I think what's the disconnect on the Starburst is it is maybe a little sparse. So you're really noticing what's there. And then when the twist comes, first of all, I've tried twist a million times. I don't recommend it for the stars thing just because you're not used to seeing that in like sci-fi. So it just kind of, I think, breaks that illusion a little bit. But I think that the biggest problem with it is it's shrinking down at the end. You start to get this kind of like uncanny valley motion where you're seeing things come towards you, but then they're also kind of like feel like they're getting pushed away. So I think that the way that the circle is closing here is the weak link. Like you would want at the end for everything to really blast towards you or something like that, but instead we're getting the opposite.
I agree.
But
Again, it is impressive though, the amount of detail in the designs for sure.
it is very impressive. That's
Very ambitious.
It's and we're not just talking about detail. We're talking about multiple different scenes. You have this skyscape. You have the outside of the ship, the inside of the ship, the starburst. So there's a lot going on. Well done.
And I know that Reddit will give me crap for this because they give me the same feedback all the time. But I think it's a lot to try to fit into the amount of time that you actually gave it on the timeline. I think especially that first shot. I mean, Noah's first reaction was whoa, whoa, because it was like we couldn't quite tell, I think, where we were going or like what was causing the next thing to happen. So just some more anticipation would be nice to just kind of clue us into what we think might happen, and then that leaves still good room for a nice surprise and delight. But I just think giving it a little bit more time.
I think what could help with that too is like you want to try to avoid, like you should be thinking about these things as kind of a match cut. You guys are the match cut experts, but you know, you see the ship go, we're going up, then the ship's going this way, and then we're cutting to forward. And I think that if you're able to reorganize things a little bit, maybe the ship is going this way and then we're cutting that way, will help smooth those transitions a little bit.
I agree
100%. It just feels a little frantic in how quick we be moving between all these scenes and not like following through.
Chat says BRB downvoting every Wells Fuego post. Hey man,
always do.
Let's go, do it,
Always
please.
do.
I need to be knocked down a peg, you know.
Thank you, Albin.
Thank you, Albin.
Thank you, Albin.
Essence of Motion is in here.
With some CC Starburst as well. But I think the momentum on this one feels better. Like the movement out feels nice. But it is still kind of a similar thing where like the build it does kind of loop, but you're missing that momentum at the beginning again. It'd be nice to like see the rings scale out or something like that. Just to like keep that follow through.
I love the transition of this like flat radar in. I think that here, what like you said, once we start moving forward, I think we want to apply that sense of motion to everything. So it's a little weird to jump in. The stars are still moving, but all the planets and rings have like their own movement. Put everything on the same null object, bring it towards the camera, push some back, push some forward, and that's going to make this feel super, super slick. Even right here with these 2D rings, if we start breaking them out in 3D, like to break that illusion from flat to 3D, that's going to help this a ton. But very cool style and layout, and it looks. I'm really getting that kind of old CRTV effect.
True. I don't like how it pops right there. You see that? Because I think it's the loop.
I see. I think the artist was probably the artist was probably struggling to like match these two different scenes and didn't get it perfect. This is where the camera button in After Effects is a lifesaver. I'm not sure if anybody knows the camera button, but there is a button right under your composition. You can click and it takes a screenshot, and then the button next to it flips that screenshot on, and that's how you can kind of nudge things around to get a perfect cut or loop.
That's true.
You guys will make a video on it, I'm sure.
Surely at some point.
Next Noah tutorial for sure.
I love After Effects, guys. It is all I make tutorials about. I'm kidding. All right, here we go. Oh wait, the one before was by Essence of Motion, so thank you. Next is Small and Magic. We got some cards from the game.
This one's got some cool movement going on, and it doesn't feel like it's too frantic.
And it loops
either.
I like.
I think this one's nice.
This one is awesome. I think they did a great job and really kind of went in their own direction with this, and it's very cool. The movement is really fun. Good job.
Yeah, I don't have like a ton of feedback to give on this one. There's times where the contrast can feel a little low, I think, and the cards get a little lost, but you could accomplish, like, you could fix that by just kind of like blurring some stuff in the background a little bit more, or something like that. But it's also harder because like the cards themselves are like more of a mid-tone. They're like a purple, whereas like these lines and other things are this really bright green. So maybe finding some ways to like maybe make those glow, even if it changes the design up a little bit, could have made them stand out a little bit. But the motion's great. So
and I really like the like
nitpicks.
subtle bending of the cards that this
did
person
see that.
added. Yeah. Any crits I have here would just be nitpicking. I think this is pretty awesome.
I got one little nitpick that is bothering me, and it's when the cards first flip over, like here, they just kind of go bop weirdly to the side, and then they align themselves nicely.
I see that.
But I'm like, oh, can we flip
But I
them
think
over?
this person has a very good understanding of 3D movement. You know, they're offsetting and staggering all the cards. They're doing kind of like weird, unique movements. Yeah, I think it's very interesting, even if it's like imperfect in terms of, you know, like this person said, the stiffness or that kind of pop. It also almost just kind of works because of the style that's established.
Yeah, it's just cool. Well done, Small and Magic. Thank you.
Very small and very magic.
Okay,
Well
and I
done.
get a worm in this one, please. A worm. Almost. These
Kind
kinda
of
look like
worms.
worms. All
Kind
right,
of worm.
50% worm. We got half a worm.
This thing's cool.
This thing's cool.
There's some cool particles, and the motion feels nice. The like build up is there, and when it loops, you still get the payoff.
Yep.
My favorite
is-
part is the very end.
nice.
Right, that flash.
I thought you were gonna say when it's just a black frame.
When it's not there. But look at that like subtle, that little camera glint. I love that.
Yeah. This is
So
cool.
good.
That I really like that the pink part of it. Like they have really good build up and momentum happening here. Boom. Cool.
Wait, wow, I could watch this for a while. This is very stage visually.
This is like a concert visual. This you would see this
Exactly.
like a heavy EDM show.
I like it a lot. Good job, Switch Media. Keep
Good
it up.
job, Switch.
I'll
Well
come to your
done.
set. All right. Next is Michi.
Michi?
Michi. I bet if I slightly cross my eyes, I can see this even cooler.
It feels like you're supposed to watch it in VR or
I
something
think
like
you
that.
are. Ooh. So 3D. I think.
This is another one that I think we're missing more of that story and more
Yeah.
of the concepting on. It's a cool effect, but it doesn't really feel like it's building into much for me.
It seems like what I want to be happening is not what they intended. Like I want these to merge like cells or something. It seems like they're like bumping and they're trying to kind of combine. Yeah, I think this is a very cool start to something, but like you said, where's the payoff?
Right. We're just missing that next step.
I
You know?
kind of get some 3Dness when I cross my eyes, but it's also
Let me
kind
try.
of. We got him. Look at him. He's crossing his eyes. Screenshot that.
Got him.
It's cool though. Like I get kind of Alex Gray vibes from this. It's a really cool visual.
Ooh, it kind of hurts my head though.
Yeah, that's what whenever I was crossing my eyes, I was like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Watch out, your face is gonna stick that way.
Yeah. We're gonna have to do these talks and stuff with my eyes crossed the whole time.
Good job, Mitchie. Thank you.
Well done.
All right.
Good job.
Chris Ike.
There's some story to this one. For sure.
Whoa. Oh, the ball turns into the glint.
I really like once we get into that space where it's more like the geometry, like there when it's spiraling around that thing. The motion there feels really nice.
Yeah.
I kind of wish the other shots, the motion felt like that, but it feels like they're a little bit more linear and like just easy eased on some of the other shots. And then there it feels like you really turned on the speed graph and did some fun stuff as far as motion goes. But I think the concepting is really interesting and the cuts are nice. I like the continuity.
This is definitely a cool one. I think for me, what I want to see is like when it drops into the pupil and you start to get like the flashing. Like I want that to be way more aggressive. I want to see my life flash before my eyes. I want to see the history of all of Mesopotamia like flashing there, and then we come back to the eye. I think that if they just crank that up a bit more, it would be it will be super, super cool. It is super cool, but that's to me what would take it to the next level.
That's fair. That does make me think that maybe we are in that world for too short of a time, because you do kind of get back to just the eye again pretty quickly.
Right.
There.
Like I want to you want to come back to the eye and be like, whoa, what did I just experience? And here you're getting just like a little taste of it. I want the full meal.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. I wish the eye had some movement as it appeared. It kind of feels like it just goes to eye.
Yeah.
And it could open and that glint could continue a little bit of the follow through, but right now the ball just kind of stops there.
Or like the
right, like they
stars
perfectly
inside
matched
swirl.
it. Yeah. They perfectly matched it, but it still just needs a little bit more love to make it feel, because I didn't even notice that I didn't notice until you've been pausing it that the kind of planet turned into that reflection on the eye.
That was like the first thing I noticed.
Well, not everyone's as smart as you, to be honest.
Yeah,
So we're trying here.
Slot diff or whatever. I guess. Thank you so much for submitting. I think that's a really cool one, and I appreciate the thought you put into
Good work.
the story. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris Ike.
Now Aghaz. Hopefully.
Now for the deep glow people, this one's definitely got some deep glow on it.
All right, that's me.
That's literally
And
us right now.
It is pretty. It's a pretty one.
The movement's nice on this.
Again, though, we go to the end of the tunnel and it's just empty. Like I was kind of hoping there'd be something there for us to look at or something, you know.
Yeah.
But it
Or
just
it's
kind of
got to
feels
be
like,
during the tunnel, right? Like you gotta
right.
you gotta go watch some sci-fi movies, and when they're going through the wormhole or they're going through hyperdrive, like it is crazy, and I think I want that feeling of this robot here is going through something crazy.
Yeah. I like it when they're like dimension hopping or whatever in some sci-fi thing, and it feels like reality's like tearing apart. Maybe like different outcomes happen. I don't know. Like your hand turns into like a robot hand for a second and back. Like that kind of stuff is really fun.
Yeah.
You
I
could
will
have done
say,
go ahead.
I'll say that they did a really great job of animating this robot from a still image that was at a particular angle. I think they made it pretty convincing that this is like a 3D or 2.5D robot asset that they created.
You did do a good job with that. And I like the little sparkles as we go through the tunnel. And
I think
right here. It's good.
You could have done a pretty cool match cut back to the beginning by the thing at the end of the tunnel is like a planet that appears and it's like backlit by a star or something, right? So you got this nice rim light, and then we follow the character like goes behind the planet, which lets like you spin back to the beginning or something, because it all like comes towards the camera. You could just do like the same spin around and it just starts the video over again.
Right.
I think that's coming back to the story thing, Austin, where like, what do you want me to think is happening here? Because right now what I think is happening is a robot is flying through a tunnel, but maybe what they intended was that the robot is trapped in this never-ending loop, and that kind of what you're saying is by showing the light at the end turn into the next loop is would help with that feeling.
Hold on,
Cool piece though. It's a cool piece.
It's a cool piece.
I dig it.
I was trying to see there was a time limit and it was 5 seconds.
Everybody in chat is being funny right now. Robot died in the wormhole. Def missing something skibbity at the end. Not feeling rizzed by this one.
This is a brain rot, Chad.
Keep it going, guys. This is good. This is good chat.
Good chat. Next.
Motion Ninja next.
Motion Ninja next. Go into her eye. She shoots.
This one's got a lot of story.
She
A
kills.
lot.
I want to look at some of the character designs. I'm gonna pause on these guys.
There's a lot going on.
We got
really
Alien
quickly.
Frankenstein. Fucking
I mean, this is just awesome all around.
It's just cool.
I want to see the robots here. Oh, they got little spears. Do they have shields? No, they don't. That's kind of cool. Oh, she got 2 different kinds of, and then I like these guys the most.
I love the shooting part of it is my favorite. I almost wish that the shooting was like the entire thing and she was like shooting all different angles, because I just think that they nailed this part the most. It's just really fun.
Yeah.
Agreed.
But it is cool to see all the different weapons and fighting.
Look at the back for a sec. Okay.
main note is just that it's kind of frantic. Like Noah having to pause to see all those details and things. Like I think what Nick is saying is right, that you maybe could have just had like 2 different shots or something once we get into that world, but like spend more time really being able to take in those details and things. Whereas on a first watch, I remember being like, whoa, 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 like where are we? What's going on? So that's my main.
Motion Ninja was clearly thinking about the right things here, where there is a buildup of the action. We start, shooting, and then we're melee, and then we're going to this big explosion moment. That's 100% the right way to think about it. Like you want to build up into this climax. But yeah, I think if we focused on the strengths here for me, which is just the action of the shooting is so cool. I would love to. Maybe we could have done that and build that up there where she's shooting different enemies and then the boss and then some final move.
Agreed.
But well done. This is a lot to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot to do. It's a lot to put in 5 seconds, so cheers to that. Good job, Motion Ninja.
Well done, Motion Ninja.
Good job, Ninja.
You're feeling rizzed by that one?
Chat, are we feeling rizzed?
Guys, are we feeling rizzed?
I like this part of this next one. I'm like, whoa, that could be a really interesting style. And I think you see what I mean. That portion, like where you it gets so cool, but then it just comes back out and I'm like, oh man, I want to watch that again. Like there's some really cool stuff in there.
I like how they transitioned some of those guys into planets. I think that's really cool. I will say, I cannot escape the feeling that these are climbing holds at a climbing gym. Holds. I just want to grab them, and I want to grab these little beans and make my way up a wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is like a V2, probably.
It's probably like a V2. Not like a version 2, but like a V2 difficulty in climbing.
Yeah. Yes.
Just so
I would say, I think this is one that, like Austin said, this style is really cool. I think this one would totally benefit from a character. Like if we had the robot from one of the previous ones kind of flying through here, I think that would really just take this to a super high level. Yeah, I think it's just lacking like a little bit of, I guess, focus, but the style and the movement and everything and that hand-drawn touch is really awesome.
Like the boiling colors within the beans, it just really does something for me.
The boiling colors within the beans. I especially like the 3 colors like at the beginning here.
It's really pretty.
This is cool. I like it.
It's really pretty. Like that'd be such a cool style for a video. To just like stay in that world where it's like pebbled. Would be really nice.
Is this hand drawn, or are they just really slapping on some?
I think
that part there looks like some grain that they drew.
I feel like they're probably using some sort of brush or something, but I think it's frame by frame, the whole thing.
Okay. I was gonna say the wormhole part almost definitely is that kind of with the shines on it.
I really like how the little stars go. Hold on, they go, whoop.
Yeah, they nudge forward.
Whoop. I think that's fine.
I agree with chat though. The hard stop at the end felt really anticlimactic. And they said, it's cool, it loops, but I also wish it had a grander end. It has such a fantastic beginning. And then Nathan says, chat, is this real?
I think that the issue with the ending for me is that it's like, why are we stopping on these marbles and then just to move forward and ignore them? Like
right.
They should be more looped in with the ending.
They're also like on the edges of the screen. Like they're not. They're there, but they're not.
Like a spinning planet or something. Like if all the colors combine to make the thing back at the beginning or something, could be cool, And
then you zoom past that. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Because it is.
Like second thoughts.
Nick is right that just zooming past it is like, whoa. Anyway,
it's like, here's the ending. See ya. Okay.
Well done, Jodot. We have
good job
for you. Oh, they just keep getting cooler.
Still haven't seen a single worm yet. Worm chat is.
Are these ordered in some way? That's like
they're
the
ordered
community kind of
from lowest scores to highest scores. So we're getting better and better and better.
We're climbing up.
So congrats on 100.
Oh wow, that's sick. Okay, well done on this one. This one's kind of explosion is just so cool. Good job on that. I do like the one thing that's missing for me is like if you could pause right at the start of the explosion.
Noah.
Oh, me? Who, me?
Yeah, whoever's
yeah.
controlling it, DJ. Like right when the explosions, I wish I just had a little bit of that blue trail, like still visible. Maybe it's like fading away at that point, just to super connect that because the motion
I see.
is pretty much perfect. Like you really feel it, and I think having just some
Ah.
sense of that direction of where that thing is coming from would just make it absolutely perfect.
That's a good point. It kind of feels like it ran into something and blew up, as opposed to um zoomed off, and that was like the explosion from the zooming.
Mm.
I assumed the first.
Yeah, I assumed it was colliding, which maybe I'm wrong about that. So some kind of little touch might help that.
Yeah,
I
mean,
thought it was colliding also.
They have like a little flash here.
That would be a crazy solar system to be living in with all of those planets naturally being that close together before it explodes. Push them
Well,
away.
maybe they're going
That's
for
crazy.
a Big Bang type thing, and this orb is no, because if you see at this Looney Tunes style screen, you do see both the planets and the orb at once. So they're not forming it, so it is some sort of collision. So I think, yeah, we're getting a little disconnect. So it's almost like it pulled them in and then blew it up.
Chat is both saying really let down by no worms, but also I don't even like worms. I'm not sure who to believe anymore at this point.
Make up your mind, guys.
Are you team worm or not?
It's like when your girlfriend says I'm fine, but she's not fine. It's like mixed signals.
She's not really fine. Here's another fun one. This one's very 3D. Oh my god. I like this one a lot.
Whoa. There's
That shatter is so satisfying.
That's really sick.
It's so satisfying.
The lighting is just so pretty, you know, like the glows and everything feel really premium and nice.
Yeah, I think this had the risk of going like corny, like cool 3D world, but the technique of the shatter is so well done that it makes it feel more professional.
It's crazy. I love the subtle UI too. That makes it feel very spacey.
This one, if only this perfectly looped.
Yeah,
if it's perfectly looped.
It's so close. It's so close to looping.
Plus, like maybe some more momentum on the shard there, like the hero. It feels like it kind of just slowly comes into the screen when you could like, like maybe
you want that kind of like,
you know,
like the last one had, where it's that really heavy explosion in the first couple frames.
Right.
If only it had worms. I so agree.
We're so far on my poll of pro or against worms in chat. We are 86% pro worm.
Yeah.
I have no problem with worms, so I'm all good.
Yeah, are you for them or
there's
against
no
them?
problem.
There's no
I mean,
middle.
pro or, I don't understand.
There's no middle.
I'm for. I would go on a pro worm march at the Capitol.
Okay.
So
I'll quote you on that. All right, we have. Oh boy, we got more. Here we go.
Yes, we do. We have 6 more, I believe. This one, the motion is fantastic. Like the understanding of physics is just, it feels really nice. Conceptually, I feel like I'm having to make some leaps to be like, I can kind of see like wormhole, time dilation, like they get older sort of thing, but I'm not really getting that from the main animation, like of the ball that I'm looking at, you know? So I'm a little lost conceptually on this one.
I think that if we took this, a couple seconds of this is like a real piece, like a REE reel. Like this goes in your reel, but as a standalone thing, I agree. It's a little bit confusing. I assumed it was like a time dilation thing, or that this character is been studying something for their whole life. And they're just, we're just seeing like a time lapse of them getting older with the same kind of passion, but I don't know. But it's so well done that I'm like, I don't even care at that point.
Right, because the motion is really, really nice.
Yes.
If I were to nitpick, reflection in the glasses is not mirrored. It's just kind of the same comp put in there. So like, if you're gonna put a detail like that, it would have been pretty easy just to flop those. So just checking on things like that. Just to flop those. That's the technical term. Also, it would have been cool to, like, there's probably some way to get back to the beginning without a wipe, you know?
I know what it would be. It would be the old guy dies, and then a baby is born, and that is
Nice.
the guy again.
What
So
if the
it's like
baby is the ball
okay.
that turns into the guy, and then he's
Okay.
old and he dies, and just continues cycle of life, you know? Wow.
I'm open to that. They also missed an opportunity to make the string a worm.
According to Kevin.
That's right.
Yes.
Good
Yeah.
point.
I also love how this guy's eyebrows thicken. It's just
Oh, I like that too.
there's the little details that you watch are great.
The nose gets so much larger also.
Yeah.
They trim paths the not the freckles. What are they called? The
The
wrinkles.
Farkles?
The farkles. The wrinkles.
The
Oh.
wrinkles.
Okay.
I think
Good
that's
job.
nice.
Well done, Almog Ivgi.
All right, guys, just prepare
Get
yourself for
ready.
this next one. Okay.
Get ready.
I'm ready.
Oh,
Oh,
it's
shit!
worm
Here we go.
time,
It's a
The
worm,
moment we've been
baby.
waiting for.
It's worm time.
It's beautiful.
Okay, this is great. I gotta say, this person had the opportunity to do the funniest thing if this meteor was like that. The worm was like an extinction event, and they like the classic like dinosaur looking up at the meteor thing that you
Yeah.
always see in like every kind of extinction representation. If they did that, I think this would be a Hall of Famer in the Smithsonian.
I agree. That would have been really cool. And you could have pretty easily looped back to the beginning there because you could have like the burned ash version of that landscape and then like tree grows, grass grows, worm pops out of the ground again and does the thing, you know?
Yeah, which is asking a lot in 5 seconds, but that's what I wanted to see.
Yep.
But great job on this. It's really fun.
It's got worms. And as Kevin says in chat, 100 out of 10 worms.
This is all we could have really asked for.
How many worms does this get? 5 big worms? Worm. Say it with me now.
I think so.
Worm.
Worm.
I think what this person did really well too is like they leaned into the absurdity. So it's like they just fully went with, all right, this is gonna be goofy. And when you have the contrast of like a little dinky worm to like a fucking crazy meteor on like this crazy angle with so much speed, I think it just nails it.
It really
Agreed.
is. It's so beautiful. They give it so much room to like wow us. I'm gonna follow this guy on EasyEase.
Well done, Jade.
They also do something. They do a little trick for anyone watching that is really strong and very subtle. Where when they cut from the outer view of the meteor to the inner view, there's a really subtle camera zoom in slightly before it zooms in a little bit, and that can be so easily achieved. You throw a transform with an adjustment layer over top of everything, and you just animate in just a couple percent on the scale, and that connects to the next scene so well. I'm a big fan of this. I do it all the time.
We're big fans. I'm
And
a
it
big
works
fan of
well.
This whole piece. Good job. Except for specifically this texture. I don't like that texture. All right.
That's fair. That's fair.
You're
It does
so
feel a little
nice
out of
though.
place.
Yeah. So smooth. All right. Well done, Jade.
Thank you, Jade Sign Lee.
Finally.
Good job.
Guys, we got like 4 more and some design submissions, so get ready. We're getting
ready.
into the big kids now. Oh, cool.
This one's
This got
really nice
motion.
motion.
It's got steez.
Really
it's got
nice
style,
motion.
baby.
This is someone who's flexing their skill of cell animation.
Oh yeah.
I got a comment. So
But
smooth,
also
so
the
smooth.
like parallax and camera movement of the thing, like the little texture in the back, adds so much. It makes it feel so much more lively and impactful.
Yeah.
Than if it was just like sitting on a 2D plane. You know, I just think it's really pretty. It's animated so well.
It is. Yeah, I agree with that. That 3D little dust field is doing a lot. And now I'm like almost missing it in these other places, but I guess I'm happy that they saved it for a more climax moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My only real feedback is more worm.
More
That's
worm.
basically all I can say about this one. More worm, maybe a little more hole, maybe a little bit more space themed, perhaps.
Yes, I think you could take a look at this and not get that if you outside of the context of this competition. I don't think you would get that feeling of it being sci-fi wormhole or anything like that. It's an abstract shape animation.
Yep,
Mhm.
agreed.
But cool, good job, Leon.
It's
I don't know.
cool. Thank you,
Good stuff.
Leon. This next one is sick. I love it. There's so many little details and things.
This
It's
one
also just pretty.
fits like the use case of it being a sort of loading screen really well.
Yes, and I think that this is a great example of like none of this motion is difficult or complex. This is a person who had a vision and they knew what they could pull off really well in their skill set. Don't get me wrong, they're probably also just like an incredible keyframer, but they really worked within a set of limitations and were able to focus on cool things like these shadows or these highlights popping in. And I think that they just really did an impressive job with this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really nice.
Yes, this person understood the assignment exactly.
For real.
And then
I-
for me, like they also clearly, based on the text and what we're looking at, they did research on
Mhm.
what on the project, on the game, and understood little Easter eggs. Like these are pretty deep Easter eggs that they're throwing on here too. So kudos to that. This person is going to go far, I think, in their professional career.
Agreed. I don't really have any notes about this one at all. I think it's great, especially for the use case.
I mean, the star field at different perspectives is so good.
It's so cool.
I could go on and on about this, but the more you look, every little detail gets better.
They even have dots in the star field. I like how the whole number changes.
Mhm.
The whole number. Ha ha
Yes,
ha.
exactly.
Math jokes. Let's go.
Really good stuff.
Well done,
Well done.
Kigs.
Staying in your sandbox and making it a really great castle.
Now,
Good job.
this next one, I don't like to necessarily do comparison, but like this is what we wanted Motion Ninjas to be. This next one, truthfully.
Yeah.
This one is by Kai. And it is really cool. It's really cool and interesting.
It is
Yes,
really
I think
cool.
when you say you wish the other one was like this, in terms of we have a cool scene and we stick in it and
Right.
we build that scene up, and she was able to. I'm assuming it's she because I'm looking at the Vesna, but they were able to do really different things, sword blasting, and we're all staying in one scene, and it's all the better for it. And this is just so cool, and I love that we got a little climax moment where she's looping back.
Mm-hmm.
Great,
and it's
great
animated
job.
very well. It really feels like otherworldly and multidimensional.
These
when
are
it-
tough
you get the-
angles to animate on. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this person took photos or took a video, choreographed it themselves to hit these angles, because this is tough. My one criticism here is if we can take a look at the sword slash. I think that the
Look how
sword
cheap
slash
this
is
guy is. All right,
which
and so
guy?
this guy right here.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like a little bit delayed because I'm watching the YouTube stream, so I have
Oh,
to
okay,
just
I
guess
see, I
what we're
see.
looking at.
Oh, I see.
I'm looking at the sword slash.
The sword slash, I think, is a little bit maybe underwhelming. Like the ending of it, there's just something off about it. I think we want to hold on that more. I want to feel that force where we just kind of snap into the next pose.
At the very least, it needs an impact frame, like flash the background, silhouette everything, or
Yeah.
something like that. Because we kind of get that later when we're in the shootout, don't we?
Like for
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
yeah.
a sword, you want to hold like a frame above, and then the slash is one frame, and then we hold a couple frames down low, and that will make it kind of feel like they went through this powerful strike. And I think what we're getting is we're missing that kind of ending hold.
Yeah, I think the slash each frame is kind of about the same length, and then it just kind of stops for a sec after. So I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I want to see if you're watching, Kai, I want to see a BTS. I know if you didn't choreograph this with your own body, then you're just like an insane person. Even if you did do that, you are insane. But I want to see the process here.
Yeah, that'd be really cool to see. And
Sick.
she kind of turns into a worm at the end, which is my favorite part.
That's
Multiple.
true.
Multiple worms. I feel like
Multifaceted worm and hole.
that's how I feel most of the time. All right, well done, Kai. Great stuff. All right, and our last animated one is by Kint.motion. It's crazy.
Just
Yeah,
it's cool.
it's just so
cool.
good.
It's really colorful. It's got a good story. It loops well. It's just nice.
It's so good. And I like how they did that kind of little infinity thing at the end to like really. This is kind of what my one of my complaints with an earlier one was. Where are we trying to tell this story that this is an infinite loop, or are we just looping to loop it? And I think that this person, they did a great job of like connecting at like, and with the facial expressions of the character, like this is a character that's stuck in this infinite loop forever, and you can really get that feeling from all the details in it.
And as a loading screen, I appreciate that there's like enough time spent on the like colorful tunnel section as well.
Yeah.
I just think for the use case, it works really well. And they're also in chat. So
And this is definitely a nod to the 2001, which actually I think Nathan just said in chat, but this is a nod to that, I forget, the end when they go through the monolith or whatever it is. This is totally a nod to that, which is cool. You always, anytime you can kind of respectfully allude to the greats is cool.
Yeah. Good piece. Well done, Kint Motion.
Really good stuff.
Well done.
I'm gonna run through some quick design ones.
We have just a couple of those. And one of them may look very familiar.
It's this one.
It's this one, but it's just not moving now. So I'd give pretty much the same thoughts and feedback on that.
Look at
Yeah.
this little guy. Take a trip through a wormhole.
This one reminds me of, y'all know about Animorphs, those books?
Of course.
This is like very much those covers for sure. And I think that's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I think would help this? If we saw, because are we seeing a difference in this like I think I understand what they're trying to do. They're getting pulled in, but I almost want it to be like the in and out. You could do something really cool where we're having this stretch effect into the wormhole, and then on the other side, because there's always another side, right? There's always another side of a wormhole. That's the point. So what's
Right.
coming out of it? Why are we stretching here? I think we could kind of do something cool there.
I agree. That'd be really interesting. I mainly have feedback on two things. One is just general contrast with the colors. It feels like there's maybe a way to differentiate that first part of the echo and the one that's in the wormhole more. They feel like they kind of start too similar to how they end, in my opinion. I would like to see more of the red at the start. And then type-wise, the take a trip through A and fast to anywhere are really hard to see on that background at a first glance. So those are two things I'd look at. And also the wormhole shape itself, like the flare, I guess, is really sharp and spiky compared to everything else, which could be a good thing, but it feels almost too different as far as like the shape language goes compared to like the ripples that are coming out from it and like how rounded the character is that's going into there. And I feel like there might have been some way to make either the flare also like kind of rounded in some way to match that same language, or add in some other sharp things in other places. It just feels like it's kind of out of place to me in that way.
Oh, I didn't even notice this text fast to anywhere. It's
Right.
very low contrast on there.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
It gets a little goopy in the middle. All right. That's
Nice work,
well done.
Albin.
Thank you, Albin, who submitted to both, by the way. So props to that. And
All
Motion
three of these
Ninja
guys
also
are
did here, as we'll see.
I really,
Yep.
This is strong. This is much stronger than the motion submission, strangely.
Agreed.
I wonder
really pretty.
why they did two drastically different.
I mean, I guess
I don't know.
strategically, maybe you have a better shot
True.
at one of them
More
doing
shots
better.
on goal.
And to be fair, like This one did very well. I think this one's really, really nice. Out of the design submissions we got, I think this is the strongest for sure.
I agree. Can we look at Motion Ninja's animation real quick?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
I want to see how many different skills this person has. Okay, it's quite a different style.
It is.
I'm just more curious of why, as I like them both a lot. I'm just curious. I wonder why. Like normally, if you see someone have a style, they lean into that style in everything they do. So I just have more questions.
I get that.
I would say that the design style is probably more elegant. This looks like a high quality professional piece. The other one, it looks like a fun, well done exercise. To me, this is, although maybe maybe more common. If this was animated at that same level, it would be, yeah, it's definitely harder to animate, I think.
I agree. I just love how all of the shapes flow into each other nicely. It doesn't feel like any of them are just like overlapping over top of each other in weird ways. It all feels like it kind of builds towards the wormhole there. And then also the two different color palettes makes it really interesting. It feels like one of those movie posters where you've got like good side, evil side, whatever, those sorts of things. I think that's really fun and cool. If I were to give one note on this one, the halftone texture in the back just isn't really doing
Doesn't
much
fit.
for me. Yeah, I
makes
think
it
you
feel-
could just keep it gradients or something.
Combined with the swoopies, it makes it feel kind of like some of the design styles in like 2006 sort of Coca-Cola ads is what it reminds me of.
Yeah, I think that they're clashing. I think you want to like do one thing really well, which in this case is vectors and vector gradients. And so to add in a completely different design language throws it off a little bit. If this was like a book cover, this would totally catch my eye. There's something really mysterious and interesting about it.
I would say try adding like grain in Photoshop in a couple different ways or something like that. Maybe leave the halftone out. But really good stuff. I love this one.
Nice
With
job,
that,
Motion Ninja.
That's all of our submissions, y'all.
That's all of them.
Oh, no.
Voila.
There it is.
Really impressive stuff. I love to see it.
Yeah, truly well done. Thank you to every single person who submitted to this particular challenge. We all really appreciate the work that you put in, and it was just very well done. Lots of good things for portfolios in here. And excited to see other things that y'all submit to other challenges on EasyEase, as well as just other work that you create out in the world.
Right on. If anyone who submitted is watching, I would love it if you shared it and tagged me on Instagram. I would love to reshare some of these, and I want to connect with people who submitted.
Let's do it. That sounds great.
Well,
Cool. Any last thoughts?
They're asking if there are any new challenges coming.
In the future, Ravi is kind of crazy busy right now, so we have had to put a little bit of a pause on new challenges. But you'll certainly be in the know if you follow EasyEase and our socials. You'll know as soon as we've got new challenges out.
Check the description. And with that, thank you so much for being here. I will see you in the next stream, in the next challenge, in the next wherever you find us all over the internet. Signing off, y'all. Bye-bye.